Welcome back to another episode of Home Sweet Home Cooking. I am Rocky, your host. Again, I'm in my mother's kitchen because apparently I don't know how to cook at my own house. Today we're doing a simple, quick, delicious, easy recipe. I don't know about how quick it is. It's called Mexican Tortilla Casserole. It is basically layers of tortilla and all the goodness of Mexican food together, and you throw it in an oven. So let's get to it. I went ahead and cooked up 1 pound of hamburger with 1/2 cup of diced onion, and you follow the instructions on the taco seasoning mix. This was the packet plus 3/4 cups of water once it's browned, and you get it cooked down until it thickens. It also calls for 1 cup of rice. We're just using minute rice because I said to make this quick and easy as you can, you might as well. It calls for some refried beans. That's just 1 can of refried beans. I put it in the microwave for about a minute. It spreads easier when it's soft. And then we got some tortillas and some cheese and some salsa, and that's really it for now. It's going to take some sour cream when it's done. Oven is preheating to 350 degrees. So to start layering, the one special piece of equipment you're going to need is a springform pan. It's just a pan where the sides has a little spring in the form, and the bottom plate is separate. So when you're done cooking, you can undo the spring form and the sides pull away, and you have your tortilla there, and you can just cut through it and don't have to worry about cutting through metal sides of a pie pan. You could do this in a pie pan. You could even flip it upside down if you want to get it out if you need to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with at least 3 tortillas. And I'm going to lay the springform pan on the top one, and I'm just going to make little knife marks about every inch. This is not in the recipe, but I'm doing it because it's going to help form the bottom of the pan a little bit easier and come up the sides and help protect the pan from sticking, or protect the food, keep the food from sticking to the side of the pan, and easier to unspring when it's done. Easy enough there. So the first tortilla, it's just going to go in the bottom, and you can see how those cuts are going to help it come up the sides of the pan a little bit. You may or may not even have to do it. Probably don't have to. I might just be a little anal retentive on that. So first layer of Mexican goodness is 1/3 of the bean, 1/3 of the meat, and sprinkle with cheese. Do 1/3 of the bean, and this is where having it warmed up in the microwave just for a minute is going to help make it spread easier. And you can use a spoon, you can use a wooden spoon or a metal spoon or a spatula, whatever you want to do. You just want to make sure you get a little bit across so you get a little bit in every bite. And if you use a little bit thinner bean, or you make your own and blend it so there's not as many chunks, it'll also spread a little easier. Next is going to be 1/3 of the meat, so about that much. Calls for a total of 2 cups of cheese. You can fudge on the numbers if you want, put a little more cheese or a little less cheese. It's calling for cheddar. There's a Mexican blend cheese out there which would work just fine. I'm sure of that because I've used that before. But in this case we're using cheddar. Next is going to be another tortilla. With 1/2 of the rice. Like I said, this is just 1 cup of plain white rice. You can use regular and boil it, or minute rice and cook it down. Spread the rice out. Does not have to be Spanish rice because you're putting the salsa right on top, which is going to kind of give it that Spanish rice flavor. Calls for a total of 8 ounces of thick, chunky salsa. This is a 16-ounce jar. Some has already been taken out, so I'm not going to use all of it. I'll use a third of what's left for a third in each layer of this. Probably about that much. Spread that out, mix it into the rice a little bit, so again you get wall-to-wall flavor. Any salsa that you want. It also does call for one ingredient that I didn't put in. The grocery store didn't have any on the shelf. It is called mexicorn. It's a corn blend that's got some green chilies mixed into it. This is where you'd put half. So it calls for a half a can, but you'd use half of that again. So only a quarter can in there. We don't have any. I don't have any canned corn in the house either. Otherwise, you could probably get away with just canned corn. Would be fine. All right. Next layer is going to be one more tortilla, another third of the beans. And another third of the meat. I'm supposed to put cheese on top of the rice layer as well. I'm not going to dig it back apart to do it. A little bit of cheese. Now this one I'm not going to put the slices in, just to show that you don't have to. Rice. Salsa. Corn will go in here. They make a black bean and corn salsa, which would be fantastic on this layer if you don't want to add mexicorn, and you'd still get the corn flavor in there. These, I should say, are flour tortillas, or not the corn tortillas. This time I'll remember to put the cheese on this layer. Just a little bit to help everything stick together. Another tortilla. And when you get to the top, let's see, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one to size, I think, because this will be the top tortilla. Just set your springform pan on your coating, or on top of the tortilla on a cutting board. And just cut that round off. And then when it goes on top, it doesn't try to climb as high. Beans. I got this recipe off the internet. I don't remember where, so I can't really give credit to who made this, but it was quite delicious. I think I wasn't even really looking for this recipe specifically. I was just looking for a generic, any type of recipe, and this one popped up, so I figured, what the heck, I'll try it, and I really liked it. And my girlfriend even likes this recipe, and like I said, she's a picky eater, so. And meat. And the last layer is going to be more cheese. Now this layer, I'm going to go a little bit heavier on the cheese because that's going to help when it browns. It'll form a nice little crust. And cover it with foil. and in the oven for about 40 minutes. Then you're going to uncover it and bake it for the last 10 or 15 minutes without the cover on. That'll help the cheese brown up. And I'm not pushing the foil down tight against the top. I don't want the foil to rest on the cheese, so when you pull the foil off, the cheese comes off. And that's it for now. I'll be back in just a few moments. There you have it. That's what it looks like after coming out of the oven. Did the first 40 minutes with the tin foil on. Gave it another 10 minutes after pulling the tin foil off, and it's been sitting now for 10, maybe 15 minutes. To get it out, you're just gonna pop open the springform pan, or the springform, I guess. Wiggle it on out, and I don't want to use a metal knife to cut onto the bottom. If you had a plastic knife or a plastic spatula, it might be easier.
Do you want the spatula?
Yeah, let's go ahead and grab the spatula. I don't feel like making an entirely big, giant mess. Just a little mess, not a big one. But let me tell you, that smells good. There we go. Oh. There it is. And you can see how none of it actually came out, and the springform pan is for the most part clean, a little bit dripped through here and there, but it's a nice clean looking presentation. Now if you were doing this and you wanted to see the layers on the table and weren't worried about the springform pan, like I say, you just cut the tortillas or use a smaller tortilla in the pan, either way.
And you can put foil in the oven and set it on there if you're afraid it's going to leak. Yep,
you can always put foil underneath it or a baking sheet, doesn't matter. If you're just going to put this on the table and let everybody serve themselves, you can take your big lump of sour cream, put it on top. If you want a guacamole, put some sour cream on one side, guacamole on the other. Not everybody wants sour cream guacamole, so I would say just cut it up and let them serve that themselves. Cut that all the way through first. Now, depending on how hungry you are, is how much you take. Don't want that? Probably not that much. Maybe cut it into thirds. I may have seconds. I don't know. But when you pull it out, that's what you get. You get that layer effect, and that's why it looks like a tortilla lasagna or Mexican lasagna. Well, it is tortillas lasagna. And oh, come on. It's being a butthead because it knows I'm filming. But you can see all the different layers in there. 3 layers of the meat and cheese and only 2 layers of the rice and the salsa. And I'm going to put a little bit of sour cream on it.
You want salsa?
No. You could put more salsa on it. Or more in it if you like it a little bit wetter. But it comes together really good. I do like sour cream though, so make sure you get for me a good amount. And if you wanted to add some jalapenos on top, some black olives, any of your standard, or a little more raw onion, just dice it up, have a few on the table, and they can dress it up however they want. That's better than Taco Bell every day of the week. You can taste the beans, taste the meat. I mean, you really don't taste the rice, but you can. There's not much flavor in rice. You taste the salsa, you taste the tortillas. All the flavors are there. Nice and gooey, nice and cheesy. There's nothing wrong with that for a quick meal. A little bit of prep time, making the hamburger meat ahead of time. Like I said, we did that ahead of time. You can do that day, 2 days. Or if you're having tacos, 1 week, just do 2 pounds, cook your 2 pounds of taco meat at once, take half of it, put it in the freezer, and you can just use the meat anytime you want. Make this at a later date, so you're cooking enough taco meat for more than 1 recipe at one time, and only making the dishes once instead of making more dishes. The rice is easy. You can do that in the microwave. We use instant rice. Or if you have leftover rice from going to Chinese, you can use that rice. Your can of beans, I put that in a bowl to warm up. You don't have to if it just doesn't spread as easily. I guess you could put that in, put in some hot water and it'll soften up too, make it easier to spread before you open the can.
You can put the whole can in the oven for a short time too.
Yeah, you can do that. And then you'd try to get it down so when you're making this, it would just be the one pan, the springform pan, because everything else would be cooked at a different time and it was dirty from another meal. You're not doing it again. So this would be like an easy throw together kind of thing. If you know any other Mexican dishes like this, other tacos and fajitas and things like that, those are just easy dishes to make. But I'm looking for, I want some more Mexican casseroles. So if you have one, please put the recipe down below. I'll put the recipe either in the description or I might put it up on a card at the end. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to be putting these recipes, but the recipe will be attached to the video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you tried it, let us know how you liked it. And share this with your friends. And other than that, now subscribe. Want more subscribers. Be my first. I don't even know if I have any yet. I haven't put my videos up online. My mom doesn't have Facebook. She can't subscribe.
No, I can't even see it.
I get my lovely girlfriend to subscribe, I bet. Because I'll just go on her Facebook and do it without her knowing. Or onto her YouTube. Oh, she doesn't have a YouTube. She uses mine. Anyway, do the things everybody asks. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.